So, you may have already heard about Nancy Guthrie. She is 84 years old, the mother of Savannah Guthrie. She vanished from her home in Tucson. But it's the details that make the situation deeply disturbing. Authorities report that blood matching her DNA was discovered on the porch. Her security camera had been torn from the doorframe. Then the FBI released footage showing a masked, armed individual standing at her front door. And that's only the beginning of what has unfolded since then. At one stage, investigators questioned a man and later released him. Reports of ransom demands have surfaced. A pair of black gloves believed to be connected to the suspect was recovered. More recently, police have asked neighbors to provide doorbell camera footage dating back to January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight. So what exactly does all of this mean? Good to have you here. I'm Chris. Let's go over what we know. On February 10th, the FBI released surveillance footage showing an individual approaching Nancy Guthrie's residence. This is not someone who appears confused or lost. His approach is steady and deliberate. According to body language analysts, he moves with confidence, as if he knows precisely where he is going, even while keeping his head lowered to avoid recognition. He is wearing a ski mask, yet what appears to be facial hair can still be seen beneath it. He is also carrying a fully packed backpack. That raises an important question. What did he bring with him? Supplies? Tools? Something intended to transport items? Whatever it contains suggests planning rather than spontaneity. Here is where the details become unusually specific. According to analysis reported by CNN, the backpack resembles an Ozark Trail hiker pack, a Walmart private label outdoor product. In other words, it is not specialized tactical gear, but something widely available off the shelf. There also appears to be a firearm secured at his waist, though not in a typical position. It sits low near the groin area. Experts say experienced firearm users rarely carry weapons this way. It is awkward and potentially unsafe. The holster itself does not appear properly matched to the weapon, raising doubts about the suspect's level of expertise. As he approaches the home, he holds a small flashlight in his mouth. When he nears the Nest doorbell camera, he attempts to block the lens using a gloved hand. Former FBI agents who reviewed the footage believe the gloves resemble black nitrile gloves, possibly similar to those commonly sold at Walmart or hardware stores. They appear thick enough that he may be wearing two pairs. This suggests he is attempting to avoid leaving DNA or fingerprints. But he may not have considered everything, because what happens next is unexpected. To obstruct the camera, he does not use tape or spray paint. Instead, he grabs a cluster of flowers from the entryway and lifts them toward the lens to conceal his face. Eventually, he pulls the Nest camera completely off the doorframe. While that method is effective, it is not particularly sophisticated. Someone who had carefully planned the operation might have brought a small, efficient tool specifically designed to disable the camera quickly.
Lens, spray paint, tape, anything. Instead, we get landscaping. And that's why several experts looking at this footage think the person may not be a seasoned professional. The confidence is there, the planning is there, but the execution, it feels improvised. Maybe even like someone doing this for the first time. Now, here's the part that almost didn't happen. Investigators came very close to never seeing this footage at all. Nancy didn't have a Nest subscription, which means the video wasn't automatically uploaded and stored in the cloud. So this wasn't just sitting there waiting to be downloaded. It took time, and it took significant technical help from Google, which owns Nest, to recover the footage from the back-end servers. And when you zoom out a little, the setting matters here. The FBI agents have told multiple outlets they were struck by just how dark it is around Nancy's home in the Catalina foothills. It's a quiet, affluent neighborhood just north of Tucson. It's been the Guthrie family home since 1975. The neighbors are spread far apart on large lots, and there's very few streetlights because local laws are designed to cut down on light pollution, which is great if you enjoy stargazing, not so great if someone is walking up to your front door in the middle of the night wearing a ski mask. As for Nancy's last known movements, she was last seen on Saturday, January 31st. That evening, she took an Uber to her daughter's house, Annie and her husband Tommaso Cioni, for dinner and a game of mahjong. The two houses are only about 10 minutes apart. According to the sheriff, Tommaso drove Nancy home later that night. He says he made sure she was safely inside before leaving around 9:45 p.m. Investigators confirmed the garage door closed at 9:50. And then we get into the overnight timeline. At 1:47 a.m. on Sunday, February 1st, Nancy's doorbell camera disconnects. Less than 30 minutes later, another security camera on the property picks up movement. Shortly after that, her pacemaker stops sending data to her Apple Watch and phone, and her medical device signal drops off. Later that morning, Nancy was supposed to watch a live-streamed Sunday church service with a group of friends, something they'd made a habit of since COVID. When she didn't show up around 11 a.m., the friend called her daughter, Annie, who went to check on her. That's when they found signs of forced entry and her doorbell camera torn from its mountings. Just after noon, they called 911. And now investigators believe this may not have started that night. Police are asking neighbors for doorbell camera footage from two very specific windows of time. January 11th between 9 p.m. and midnight, and January 31st between 9:30 and 11 a.m., according to a local news outlet, which suggests someone may have been around that house well before February 1st. Neighbors also told local news that investigators have been asking detailed questions about vehicles, specifically trucks. And when you look at the layout of that neighborhood, it's not hard to see why. The Catalina foothills are full of winding back roads, long driveways, and homes set far back from the street. There aren't many traffic cameras, so if someone put an 84-year-old woman into a vehicle and drove away, it's entirely possible they did it without ever being picked up on a single public camera. And then there's this detail. Nancy's house was initially returned to the family on Tuesday, February 3rd. The very next day, police retook control of the property. According to News Nation, some experts are warning that gap, even though it was short, could have compromised evidence, which is not something you want to hear in a case where timing already matters this much. Now, this is where things take another turn. On February 3rd, TMZ and at least two local Tucson outlets started getting ransom notes. They included details about what Nancy was wearing the night she disappeared and other information that only someone familiar with the house would know. TMZ reported the demand was for $6 million in Bitcoin, though that amount hasn't been officially confirmed. The note reportedly included a Bitcoin wallet address for payment, and if the money wasn't deposited, it allegedly threatened her life. But bizarrely, the sender offered two deadlines. The first was 5 p.m. on February 5th. The second, a final deadline, was for Monday, February 9th. At that point, Savannah and her older siblings, her brother Cameron and her sister Annie, began speaking publicly. Not to negotiate or speculate, but to talk about Nancy, who she is, what she loves, the kind of person she's always been. They were trying to humanize her, not just for the public, but for whoever might be watching. Here's what they said.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She is funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light in our lives is gone. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She has always been our guiding light, a woman who holds on to hope no matter what life brings. Through every hardship, every moment of pain and loss, she chose joy again and again. But we are only human, ordinary people who still need their mother. Mama, if you can hear us, please come home. We miss you more than words can say. Our mother is our heart. She is our home. She is 84 years old. Her heart is fragile. She lives with constant pain. Right now, she has no medicine she needs to live and to keep from suffering. We have heard the reports about a ransom demand. As a family, we are doing everything in our power. We are ready to talk. But in a world where voices and images can be manipulated, we need proof, real proof, that she is alive and in your custody. We are listening. We are waiting. Please, contact us.
Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
And then another note came in on February 6th. This one wasn't necessarily framed as a ransom demand, but it reportedly included details that made it clear it was from the same sender, so whoever was behind this wasn't done communicating. The next day, Saturday, February 7th, the family released another public statement, and this one felt more direct. It was clearly aimed at the person holding Nancy. The message was simple. We will pay.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Meanwhile, investigators are basically pulling on every thread they can find. They seized a blue Subaru that was parked inside Nancy's garage. They also took a security camera from her roof after a neighbor tipped them off about it. And then on February 7th, they showed up at Annie and Tommaso's house for the second time. They were there on February 4th also. NBC News says the couple have cooperated and gave permission to the police to come in and look around. Officers were seen walking in with one of those silver forensic briefcases, a Celebrite kit. That's the kind of equipment used to pull data off phones and devices, texts, photos, location history, all of it. So naturally, people start asking, why search the daughter's house? And the answer is actually pretty straightforward. In cases like this, investigators always start with the people closest to the victim. Statistically, most abductions involve someone the victim knows, often someone close. And Annie and Tommaso were the last ones to see Nancy that night. So naturally, you're probably wondering, who exactly is this couple? Well, Tommaso Cioni is a 6th grade science and biology teacher. He's originally from Italy. Annie is a published poet and jewelry maker. They've been married since 2006, and they have one child together. She's the only one of the Guthrie kids who still lives in Tucson. Their brother Cameron, the oldest, is a former F-16 pilot who served in the military for more than 20 years. He lives in Vermont. Savannah is the youngest of the three. She graduated from the University of Arizona, later earned a law degree from Georgetown, and now hosts the Today Show in New York, where she lives with her husband and 2 kids. The 3 siblings don't live near each other, but by all accounts, they're very close. Their father died in 1988, so for decades, it's been Nancy and her 3 kids, a tight unit in that same Tucson house they grew up in. And that's part of what makes this case feel so unusual. Elderly abductions are rare. Senior citizens are about 10 times less likely to be victims of violent crime, and when older adults are targeted, it's usually for financial scams, not violent kidnappings, which is why the ransom notes raise as many questions as they answer.
Some experts aren't even convinced the situation is real. There's growing concern that the messages could be a hoax, someone cruelly making this family's nightmare even worse. Because if this were a genuine kidnapping for ransom, it likely would have been resolved already. A veteran FBI special agent told News Nation, "Contact usually begins within hours, not days. Proof of life is established quickly and repeatedly. Control and leverage are created immediately." In other words, abductors focused on ransom would have acted fast, keeping Nancy alive, handling her carefully, even ensuring she had her essential medication. But none of that appears to be happening here. And that uncertainty is what's deeply troubling investigators. They don't even know what they're dealing with. The February 9th deadline passed, and nothing followed. No new messages. No proof of life. No trace of Nancy. After that silence, the family's tone changed. Instead of addressing whoever might be responsible, Savannah turned to the public. She asked for help.
We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation.
And that's where things stood. A family asking for help and very little to go on until February 10th. That's when we finally got something concrete. The FBI released the surveillance photos and video of the masked man at Nancy's door. And that same day, there was the first bit of activity tied to the ransom demand. The Tucson ABC affiliate, one of the outlets that got a ransom note, reported that $300 had been deposited into the verified Bitcoin account around 5 p.m. $300, not $6 million. So potentially an attempt to trace the money? Not long after that, investigators mobilized. Armed SWAT vehicles, search and rescue units, and they ended up back in Annie and Tommaso's neighborhood. Federal agents then went door to door in Annie's neighborhood. They asked neighbors to pull any doorbell footage from the night of January 31st. They asked for permission to search outbuildings, sheds, garages. Basically, if there was a structure on the property, they wanted to look inside of it. And that same day, police pulled over a delivery driver from Rio Rico, a border town in southern Arizona, about an hour from Tucson. He was put in handcuffs during a traffic stop and detained for questioning. Investigators also searched the home where he lives with his family, and then he was released. No charges. Afterward, he spoke to Fox News on camera about what happened.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I and all that? But
are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay. Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have? Did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They. Until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
The delivery driver later went on Fox News and basically said he doesn't even know who Savannah Guthrie is. He doesn't follow the news. And then it got weirder. On Wednesday, February 11th, TMZ got another note. This person
A new message surfaced from someone claiming they had been trying to contact Cameron and Annie without success. Then came the demand. If the family wanted the name of the person involved, they were told to send 1 Bitcoin to a specific wallet, roughly $67,000. TMZ reports that this wallet is completely different from the one listed in the original ransom note. The message also included a chilling line, "Time is more than relevant." So the question remains, is this someone with real knowledge, or just someone exploiting the headlines for quick money? Whoever is behind it seems frustrated. On February 12th, another note was sent to TMZ, complaining they weren't being taken seriously. This time, the writer asked for about $65,000 in Bitcoin, claiming they needed the money to go into hiding because they feared retaliation. They even referenced a delivery driver who had been detained and later released, saying they didn't want to be incriminated like that Carlos guy, a strangely specific detail. Once again, investigators are left wondering, insider or opportunist? While these messages circulate, the physical search continues, and investigators may have found their most significant piece of evidence yet. During a grid search, police recovered a black glove matching those worn by the masked intruder seen on surveillance footage. It was discovered along a roadside less than 2 miles from Nancy's home, and it contains usable DNA. That's not just a clue. That's critical evidence. At the same time, Authorities are expanding their request for security footage across the Catalina foothills. Residents are being asked to review recordings from two specific time windows: January 11th, between 9 p.m. and midnight, and January 31st, between 9:30 and 11 a.m. This may be connected to a suspicious vehicle reportedly captured on a nearby traffic camera around 10 a.m. on January 31st. Investigators haven't shared further details publicly. What is clear is this: the focus isn't only on the night Nancy disappeared, but on whether someone had been watching the house long before. Nancy remains missing.